guys, are we all focused? Okay. Every speaker has been great so far, correct? And I love what Jim Rohn said. Not every book you read will help you, but every book you do not read will not. So, every speaker here can help you only if you take it and put it into action consistently. It's only going to be consistent if it's in a calendar. So I want to tell you that the next speaker is going to be, in my opinion, is one of the people I grew up in network marketing with. We are both in network marketing for over 28 years in network marketing. We started in the exact same company. Now the thing was, in that company, he was successful, and I was learning. In fact, in my first 2.5 years in that company, I was going broke enthusiastically. I was broke but happy. He was happy and rich. But I tell you, you know what? He has learned, and guys, what he learned as a distributor, he was so successful that he became a corporate person. He took that company from $300 million to over $700 million. He transformed that company with his wife Audrey into a company that was actually had from one-to-one customer to distributors to over 10, 11, 12 customers for every distributor, and they made that transition over a few years. Would you like to learn how to do that? He also now is so successful that he's gone back and he started off his own network marketing company. He works together with his wife Audrey. He's an incredible friend. He's an incredible trainer. He's one of the people who can honestly say, because Sachin said it, we're one of the old schoolers. We were taught in the old ways. The only difference is we're not stuck in them. Let's bring to the stage Mr. Sven Goebel.
How cool is that? I think we were both broke and happy. I just looked a little richer than him that day back. That happens in your first business. How was everything so far? Did we have an incredible morning with these incredible speakers? I just love it. It's giving us so much energy to be in rooms like that and hear about their successes, but also see vulnerability, right? This is very important to hear them say, we have to move our, I like the spelling, add, dollar, called ass, right? We gotta get off our ass and get moving, get out of the comfort zones. This is what the whole thing is all about. You heard a little bit about my background, and I'm talking about shifting paradigms. And we heard Andrea, I think it was Andrea, she was talking about paradigm shifts a few times today in her speech, because things have changed. What we have learned, I'm now 28 years in this amazing profession, loved every single day. Well, that's a lie. No, not really. But if I look back, I actually loved every single day. There were days where I said, why am I doing this, okay? But looking back, it was so valuable because either you win or you learn. And for every day I hated back then when the day was there, I'm grateful today because I had the opportunity to take something out of it. You take something out of the things that don't work, sometimes even more than of the things that do work, right? So I had the opportunity in my career to work with a lot of young people, and as somebody said very politely this morning, like myself, I'm one of the more mature people. The old ones. We are the mature ones, that's nicely said. And things have changed, you know, we have global access, we can actually reach people all around the world. There was that myth about social media and how it's going to affect our industry. Some of us started over 10 years back on social media with their Facebook profiles. Some of us have figured it out how to do it. Some of us still haven't figured it out. I think what's important to see is that the social media myth is getting a little more clear. And we all understand, even when we build our business through social media, we still have to get off our ass. It doesn't happen automatically. And there's no such thing than the perfect automatic network marketing funnel you earn while you sleep. We have to make that happen with blood, sweat, and tears, whether it's offline or online. Wouldn't you agree? We've got to work hard, we've got to get out of our comfort zone, we've got to do the things, and this is what it is all about. So, we are going to talk about these changes, the paradigm shifts, because there's old school thinking and old school acting, and then there's the things that work. And there's a big gap. And I want to take you from that side of your thinking to the other side of your thinking in my speech. And I've done that with a lot of teams, a lot of groups, and that's where we generated these massive successes with, that Gareth mentioned, over the past years, okay? Just a little bit about myself, for those of you who haven't met me yet, that's my family. We are from Germany. We are very blessed to live in wonderful, wonderful Switzerland. I'm coming back to talk about Switzerland, specifically a little more during my speaking here, because there's a certain relation we have to this country and what we all can learn from this country. Because, I mean, who's ever been to Switzerland? Can I see? Yeah? Who thought it was a beautiful scenery to be there? It's a beautiful country, right? And let me tell you that when I was traveling around the globe as a German, okay, people ask you, where are you coming from? And then you say, I'm from Germany. And people say, oh yeah, Germany. And sometimes you even get an ugly kind of remark, right? Whatever, historically. And I was used to that. That's fine. I mean, this is generations back, but you get that kind of back sometimes. Yeah? Now, since living in Switzerland for 12 years, when people ask me, where are you from? And I said, I'm from Switzerland. Different. They're like, oh wow! I said, have you been there? No. But they associate something with it. So I started asking them, I said, okay, what do you associate with Switzerland? Why you go like, oh wow, and you have never been there? I said, well, chocolate, okay? Beauty, neutrality, wealth, watches. That's an Italian one right now, but you know, that's what they associate with Switzerland. It's just scandal-free. I don't know how they did it, but it's kind of scandal-free. You know, it's a little jewel in the middle of Europe, and that's what people associate with. And I learned from it. I said, you know, this is exactly like that country did it. You have to be able to be kept accountable as a person like that country is. You know, you gotta do things right. You gotta do things just a little better than the average does. Just do it with integrity. That's very important. That's what we learned from Switzerland, and that's why we built our value system on what we've learned from Switzerland. Just quickly, my career path. I started in 1992. I mean, Garrett mentioned it. Second highest position as first worldwide in 2 companies, which I've built. This was a great experience. I'm one of these out of your comfort zone guys. I'm working my dollar off every single day. Still today, it was never a matter of money. I never get tired. The only thing I get is bored. And when I'm bored, I change something. I don't blame, I change myself, you know. I want to get up every single morning, look in the mirror and say, it's worth going all in every single day. And that's what you gotta do. You gotta go all in whatever you do every single day. You gotta find the passion. You gotta find the motivation. It has to be intrinsic. Don't wait for your sponsor or your company to entertain you to move your dollar. You have to get it out of yourself every single day. 18 years field experience on your side. Now I'm on the dark side. The dark side, you know that, Darth Vader? And that's how it sometimes feels. I was happy when John Fogg called me in 2011, said I want to do a remake of the greatest networker book from the old days. I have picked 21 people I want to feature with no chapter. You are one of them. And I said, why hell me? right? There's people who made much more money than I did in network marketing. There are people who are much better known in network marketing who would have deserved a chapter. And he gave me an interesting answer which helped me afterwards to position myself, and maybe this is also helpful for you. He said, it is because, not what you've accomplished in network marketing, which is outstanding anyways, but what you've always done for this industry. You've always tried to help to build a good profession. You always tried to help to build a culture. You have a lot of friends outside your own company, outside the country, the continent, even in network marketing, and you're always willing to give back. And you've created a lot of things that help people outside the company as well. So that's why you earn to be in this book. Wow. So, that's all about that. That wasn't a purpose thing. I just did it because I learned from a very good upline of mine many years ago, whatever you give, you get plus. Plus. What goes around comes around. Plus, he always said, people say what goes around comes around, everyone knows that, but he said, it's plus. Whatever you give, the more you give, the more will come around plus. And that plus was that book for me. So I'm very grateful for that. 3 years of consulting. I was in a situation where my company went out of business. That's an ugly thing. I had to switch out the light. I was on stage. I had 2,000 of my people in my room, and I knew this was the last meeting, and the people were still excited. That is the dark side of that. You know that the company owner, when he calls you in the morning, said, I missed my plane from Hong Kong, I'm sorry. Can you turn off the light of the company, please? That's a tough one. You know, I have had to leave a company because it failed. This is not easy, because your people are still full of excitement, and they have not bought the product and the compensation plan in first instance. They bought you! And now you got to tell them you got to do something else or whatever. So that was the moment where I said, I'm never ever, who's been there too? I'm never ever going to do network marketing again. I was there too. Anyone, come on, be honest. The leaders, the top earners, right? We've all been there. But it's like in a relationship, when you fall in love again, it's not her fault that the other thing messed up somehow. Just be open again and get into the game. Again, with another vehicle. You are still yourself. You can still motivate people. You can still give hope. Just the vehicle crashed doesn't need to get back in the car for the rest of the time, for the rest of your life. You can always get back in. But you got to shake yourself. You got to shake a lot of things off and just keep doing it, you know. So that was one of the very dark moments in my network marketing career. But today, again, as I said earlier, I'm grateful for this, because it kept me on the ground for the rest of my career. Because you know, anything can happen at all time. Be prepared and always do your best. 6 years corporate experience, Garrett mentioned that. We turned the company around in a very, very big way. My steepest learning curve so far. And now I'm CEO and founder of Beep. No, my company is not called Beep, but we are not allowed to call names, so I said, okay, let's call it Beep. Hey, and when in 2 years somebody's here on stage and say, you know what, we have a company, it's called Beep, and it made 100 million the first year. Send me a check! It's actually a great name for a company, right? It's not so bad. It's like social media 3.0. Company name, Beep. Why not? Good. So, we've heard a lot about sales, and yes, we are selling. I'm not going to argue with Armand, especially not with the income he has and with the company he's built. We have to be salespeople, but today it is much more about community. Would you agree?
Yes.
Yes.
And honestly, thinking back, network marketing, also in the old days, before social media, has been a community business, because it was a group of like-minded people who stood up for something and made it happen, correct?
Yes.
This is what it's about. We are a community business, but today we can build this community all around the globe with the technology we have on our hands. So that is a good thing. I will try to get a lot of good points across to you from which you can choose which one you want to apply or not. Okay? Because this is a little sensitive. The first one is an easy one. When I was in network marketing the first time in 1992, I had that US sponsor who just told me, keep it short and simple. KISS, who's heard KISS before? Or they said, keep it simple, stupid. You know that one? Yeah, right. Keep it simple, stupid. Keep it short and simple. Okay? And what I've seen, and what I'm still seeing today is that actually the moment a new person who has no clue what this is all about starts, actually does a pretty decent job in the first few days to recruit or sell to customers the first products and first opportunity. That's pretty well, right? Until you start teaching and training them. It's like knowledge here, excitement here, and then the upline steps in and say, I gotta educate this person. And then you have that Russian thinking upline. They start teaching. Oh, you gotta go on this training, you gotta go on this Zoom call, you gotta do this, gotta do that, gotta learn about the compensation. You know what happens? Knowledge goes up, excitement goes down. And the moment you put weight on person's shoulders, they don't stand up anymore happy, they go like this, and the mouse goes like this. They'll put weight on the shoulders, and suddenly the entire process starts to slow down. Because there's one illness in network marketing, and this is over-education. Wow. Everybody is such an amazing teacher. People rather teach instead of recruit. People rather educate instead of find a new customer. Yes. So my question is, what are you educating? If you don't do the job yourself, why don't you just do it and not try to theorize it, but just teaching others to do something you are not doing anyways, and as a consequence, they don't do it either. And they say, oh, you know what? I think in order to be successful in network marketing, I need to become a good trainer. Teacher. And then they have all this weight on their back, and it goes down, it slows down, and then there's only one solution to it. You know which solution it is when things go worse? More training! And then you're on the vicious cycle. Bam, 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 bam. I've seen that. I said, okay, let's just cut this knot, okay? We need to get back to simplicity. We have to start to master complexity. I'm not arguing that this business is not complex. It is a complex business. It's been less complex in the old days, in the analog times, but today you have so many different options. There have so many different subjects. You have so many different things to learn. I mean, just look at social media. Look at all the platforms there are. It's Facebook. It's Twitter. It's now TikTok. TikTok. I registered at TikTok because Gary Vee, in that video, said you gotta go to TikTok. I said, let's have a look at TikTok. So I must tell you guys, yesterday I started TikTok. So I did a video. It's a video platform like Instagram just for videos. Who knows TikTok? Ask your kids, everybody knows it. So I did that selfie video from my terrace. Say, hey, TikTok community, how are you? It's so great to be here. Bam, 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 bam. Good. A few hours later, 20,000 views.
Wow.
Over 100 followers, and an endless amount of really weird comments. I said, what are you doing? What are you doing here, Grandpa? Or like a lab, you know? Isn't that just for young people? A lot of that stuff, but also some people say, that's great. Yeah, he's doing it right. The other one said, this needs to go viral. And I said, okay, you know what? Even if I'm the biggest idiot of TikTok, as long as my video goes viral, I have no problem with that. Just share the stuff. Just share it. Yeah? That old guy from Switzerland making himself a total clown. Just share it. I want the first time to have some of my stuff go viral and see what happens. Who knows? Yeah, it works. Yeah, I know. It does. Thank you. Thank you. I'm gonna stay brave. Maybe I need a facial surgery or something to adjust to the community. I hope my son doesn't find me. He's gonna say, Dad, you gotta quit this. Yeah? Please, please don't let my friends find you. Okay, back to simplicity, okay? Here you go. The initial simplicity, because you don't know much, is excitement. And we know excitement works really well in our business. And over time, you start adding knowledge, and knowledge adds to complexity, and complexity kills excitement. And this is something you need to master. You need to get to the other side of complexity. And there's this very, very wonderful saying from Oliver Wendell Holmes. You need to learn about this quote. He says, I would not give a fig for simplicity on this side of complexity, but I would give my life for simplicity on the other side of complexity. This is very interesting to think about. If we really want to travel fast, we have to travel light. We have to take baggage away from our people's shoulders. We have to have a simple system that duplicates. It has to be fun and easy to apply. Because honestly, this business is no rocket science. Just people try to turn it into rocket science. And I believe that especially us Europeans, we always try to play the engineer and make things that are actually simple, very complicated to make them sound more valuable. Wouldn't you agree?
Yes.
Isn't that a bad thing?
Yes.
Shouldn't we turn this upside down and say, you know what, let's go for the simplicity, let's master the complexity, let's give people a free highway so they can speed up and make things happen and dash towards their dreams instead of being on a car like this and having all these roadblocks. We want to keep things simple, so we have to master our complexity status, which is there, no doubt, and we have to get clarity, because without clarity, you can't. What is this? 1 second. Again, sorry for that. Yeah. Because without that, you actually cannot become the leader you want to become. You've got to move these roadblocks out of the way. So we agree that we always have to trade simplicity against complexity. We have to keep things simple. That is the first paradigm shift, and I'm saying that, said, okay, that's clear anyways, you have to keep things simple, but actually you don't keep things simple because you try to teach your people too much stuff. And you try to make them good at all, at everything, whether it's online or offline. You know what? Let them just do the thing, give them an easy system to duplicate, and just master the numbers. Just measure velocity instead of, I'm not saying quality, but let's say the depth, keep it simple and go for speed rather than for sophistication. That doesn't really work too well in our business. Are there any women here in the audience? Yes, there are a lot. I explained it in a different way for you ladies. It looks like this. I had that great YouTube video about the brains of men and women, maybe you've seen it, the one with the drawers and then the psst of the women. I argue that with my wife all the time. And she's always right, because you cannot, as a man, get across that kind of complex thing in the middle, which is kind of how women's brains work. And this is not disrespectful, this is a compliment, okay? So elegant simplicity, mastering complexity, and still do it lightly. This is the way we want to do our business with all the knowledge we have, okay? Next thing, from information to inspiration. We have to be inspiring. In today's times, there is so much information hitting us every single day that there is no way that people have just been waiting for you, your awesome product, and your awesome opportunity. They actually have not much time for that. So if you cannot inspire somebody to listen to you or to open up, they go like this. Can you imagine the amount of information in all these different channels, whether it's TV, whether it's movie, whether it's social media, internet, whatever, is about 300 times as much as 2 generations before. My grandpa was sitting in front of his radio where he received a few channels only, hungering till the round hour came for the news to hear what happens in the world. Wow. Right? He was hungering for that, because otherwise he was in his village totally disconnected of everything. He didn't know what was going on in the world. Today we need to understand that we are getting swamped with everything at all time and in real time. Actually, Elon Musk was the one at the World Government Summit 2 years ago. He was a speaker, I was in the audience. He said, this is our third brain. There's only one gap we will bridge, and this is we still use our third brain with our thumbs. Not long anymore. Soon it's going to be connected. Can you imagine what that means? And then there's you with your product and your services trying to get across to someone. Do you have time to listen to me? No! No chance. You have to inspire people. You have to be really inspirational to get people to listen to you and open up. Whenever I speak with somebody, I try to add value to that person. It's all about adding value. I'm very grateful that I have the opportunity today to speak to you and with you for 30 minutes. Times 200 people, do the math, that's 100 hours I'm wasting if I just talk some other stuff, right? I need to value these 100 hours you are giving to me. That's very important. So the broader your audience is, think about that any second you say something adds value to these people's lives. Otherwise, they're not going to come back anyways. So whether it's a 5-minute meeting, a 50-minute meeting, or even a 5-day workshop, or whatever you do, make it worthwhile. Otherwise, the people are not coming back to you. And you can do it by being a source of inspiration, not a source of information. Wow. And to be a source of inspiration, you have to lead by example. You have to look in the mirror in the morning and say, would I follow myself? Would I be inspired by what I'm doing and how I'm behaving when I interact with other people? It's a brutal answer sometimes. And especially those ones who work on the rational level in this business, not so much on the emotional level. For them it's really tough because they need to understand, if you are just a source of information, you're not going to go very far. People look at who you are, not at what you say. And if you don't act as a role model, if you are not a person where they say, I want the same life as he has, I want the same look as she has, I want to drive her car as well, I want to go on vacation where they go on vacation, I want to spend as much time with my kids as they spend time with their kids. That's inspiring, you know? Be a role model, but not just be an outputter of any information. That doesn't bring you very far because people are just sick and tired of just getting information because they get it all the time. You have to be a source of inspiration. That's very, very important. The next one, experience. Education experience. I talked about education already, but you gotta make it an experience. Who of you is in the nutrition part of our business? Who sells nutritional products? Okay, that's about over half of the room. Okay, who of you nutrition is in a capsule? Can I see who has capsules as a product? Okay, and are they in a white plastic bottle with a wrap around it? Who's got capsules in the white plastic bottle? Come on! Not a bad thing. Of course you have. I don't know much other nutrition products than that. So think about it. What actually is sexy about a capsule in a white plastic bottle? Not so much, right? And yet you put that on the table and tell them it's the best product in the world because of what it does. Hopefully you have some good ingredients in your powder. So whenever you talk to somebody, try to make every single, and that's just one example, try to make every single moment experience. I learned that from my wife because she takes that white bottle, she opens the lid, she opens the capsule, she puts it on a mirror. Don't get me wrong. She puts it on a mirror. That's going to be a great party. And then she would put all the ingredients, let's say it's kind of something healthy or fruit or veggie or whatever's in there, from the supermarket around it before she would present that to someone who has to look into the product. Do you think this is going to be a different kind of experience than just talking about the white plastic bottle? What I'm saying is you have to become creative. You have to become creative in presenting, whether it's the product, whether it's the opportunity. Same with the environment, you know? When we changed to that amazing success in my last company, we had people not presenting in a hotel room, neon lights, butts in seats, speaker on stage. They went in nightclubs, they went in lounges, beach lounges. They just had an environment where people went to and said, I'm going to bring friends next time. How many hotel meetings have we seen where people just ran out and never came back. Because they say, I wasn't inspired. There was no experience. Experience is important. Who of you has ever done a home party presentation? Cool, that's part of our business, would we agree? Does social media fully replace home party experiences? Yes or no? No. We keep it on, right? Are we agree? So here's my advice to you. If you do it, then do it right. Then do it right. Do it in a way it's fun and people don't forget. If you do a home party with your product, just do it in a way that it is like, oh my gosh. Okay? That's how you do a home party. Forget the white plastic borders. Packaging. I would go. I would come back. I would bring friends. Why not? If you do a home party, do the hottest home parties in the world. It has nothing to do with your product. It's about experience. Culture, genealogy. Gareth and I talk backstage. You know, we have combined 60 years of experience here, so we have a lot to talk about. And we talked about the change that it is very narrow-minded if you only focus on your, it is very narrow-minded if you only focus on your own genealogy. You have to focus on the wider, the broader range. You have to think about your peers outside your organization and even outside your company. You have to create a culture of mutual respect and understanding, because we can only learn from another. In the old days, upline you everything, downline you nothing. Run. You listen, sit down, quiet. Today, can you imagine what we have learned from young people doing it right? Young people who were in the business just not 25 years, maybe 25 months, maybe even 25 weeks, and they figured something out we didn't know. So we better listen to these guys. You gotta listen to people. You gotta make friends. You gotta build a culture around everything. And you don't want to see a cross-line or even somebody from another company as your enemy. And that's why I'm so grateful for Ted and Dini putting these generic events together, because we all can learn so much from another, which you can't learn your own. Same with product and purpose. It is not about just talking about your product. You have to understand why your company has launched this product and why this product is going to make a difference in the world. Where is the dent in the universe you're going to put with your product? This is something you have to figure out yourself, and if you don't figure it out, ask your company, what are you going to change? You know, this is very important. And actually this reflects usually in branding. I just love the subject of branding. Because there is where we often go so incredibly wrong in our business. Because we talk about the product and we forget the branding. Especially, we lead with the brand of our opportunity company. We don't lead with our product branding. In some cases, it's even the same thing, which is going to create some other problems. I know a lot of companies who are well known for their brands. This is great because the brand is what travels the world. The brand is the quality measure. But I know a lot of companies, you know the company name, you know the opportunistic part, but you have no idea what the name of their product is. That's why it's very important to differentiate between your product brand and your company brand. Look at that shape. What brand is that? Do we need to see the name? What is it? Yes, it's Coca-Cola. See the bottle and the lid? Amazing, right? Shouldn't we all aim, with our hundreds of millions of turnover, to make our network marketing brands as famous as these brands? Shouldn't that be our objective? Shouldn't we let the brand travel the world even faster than our company and opportunity? We've tried that with our company, and it happened in a way that actually even the royal family of Abu Dhabi jumped on our brand and said, we want to represent that brand. That doesn't happen when you have that negative pyramid stigma to your brand. So we got to learn how to differentiate between a very true, powerful product brand and a distribution power force attached to it separately. That's the future. And that's what Garen and I just discussed about. But I'm going too deep here. Just keep that in mind. Just keep that in mind. It's very important to have a brand that would also work in the world if there was no PV and no compensation plan attached to it. This is very important. And there are still too many products in network marketing that only work and become distributed because there's a compensation plan attached to it. And this has to end. Okay? Would you agree? I mean, that's more for the CEO peers here in the room. That's so much for the This one is relevant for the networkers. Just look at the ladies, look left. You see all the mass, you see the rational part. And look right, you see the colorful thing. We have to focus on our EQ more than on our IQ. People buy people. People attract people into this business. One more minute, okay? This is so incredibly important. And that is actually what this whole thing is about. You gotta move to that side. You gotta show them a colorful future. It's all about the other paradigm shifts, like the inspiration. You get people attracted with your emotional concept. My wife, she's just that person. She's so incredible. I'm a scientist, I have that doctor, I always try to work things out, and I'm more on this side most of the time, but she doesn't understand that side even. Good for her, and good for the people she's with, because she is there, and that's why she attracts the many people. She speaks from the heart, she speaks colorful, she can inspire people. That's what we have to learn more. Get out of the numbers and get into the flowers. Very important. And the next thing, and the last one, from hunter to farmer, just work on your own personal brand. People look you up before they even go to meet you. Honestly, when you invite somebody for a presentation, guess what? He's already Googled everything. He knows about what company you're with. Maybe he even checked on the compensation plan. He already knows the product. Why is he coming? He's not coming for you for a presentation. He just wants to check you out. Are you the person I want to follow? Can you add value to my life? That's the answer you have to give in the presentation, but not what the things are about. This was in the old days where there was no internet and where they only got the information they needed in meetings, but today they already know everything. It's like us going on vacation. Who of you would not Google the hotel they book? But we would all do that. We know what the breakfast looks like, we know what the beach looks like, we know what the room looks like. Otherwise we wouldn't book. Same here. They are not going to book you. They have checked you out already. Just keep that in mind. That's why it's so important that how we represent ourselves. What is our brand worth on social media? What does our profile look like? Best advice here, think before you post. And Rob is going to cover that in a second, I think. He's right after me, our social media expert, and I think he would agree. Think before you post. Very, very important. Build your external brand. It's the marketable representation of yourself. That is so important, okay? And at the end of the day, what's very important, and I close with that, you have to work on your own value system. What values are you transporting? Value system. Your beliefs become your thoughts. What do you believe in? Your thoughts become your words. What you think is what you say. Your words become your actions, because what you say is what you're going to do. And your action is going to be your habits. That's what you get used to. And your habits become your values, and your values ultimately become your own destiny. Guys, I wish you all the best. And let's have an amazing next 1.5 days. Thank you so much. Sven Goebel!
Everybody learning, yes? Yes. Ready for the next speaker.